Welcome to Blueprint Future, where we decode the trends shaping our tomorrow. So let's talk about something huge, a biological revolution that's happening right now, one that has the power to completely shatter our financial world as we know it. I'm talking about radical human longevity. Now, that's not a line from some sci-fi movie. Nope. That's a very real projection, and it's based on a massive shift happening in biotech. We're talking about serious, targeted investment into hacking the aging process itself. And you know what? The science is moving faster and faster every day. But here's the kicker. Our entire financial world, every pension fund, every insurance policy, every single retirement plan you can think of, is built on this old 20th century idea of how long we live. So what happens when this biological breakthrough slams head-on into our economic reality? Well, the impact isn't just going to be big, it's going to be systemic. It's going to change everything. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the new reality we're facing. Then, we'll get into the actuarial reckoning, basically how the numbers just don't add up anymore. After that, we'll talk about the end of retirement as we know it, but also the rise of this new longevity economy. And finally, we'll wrap up with a roadmap for what comes next. You see, for the last 100 years or so, we got longer lifespans thanks to things like public health and better sanitation. Simple stuff, right? Well, that era, it's over. We're in a whole new ballgame now. This new phase is all about direct intervention. We're talking regenerative medicine, genomic engineering, AI diagnostics, all aimed at targeting the very root causes of aging. And I want to be crystal clear, this is not some far-off fantasy. That number you're looking at, over $15 billion a year. That's the kind of serious money already being poured into making this a reality. And what that creates is this incredible feedback loop, right? More money means faster breakthroughs, which gets more investors excited, which means, you guessed it, even more money. The whole thing just accelerates, and it's happening exponentially. Okay, and this brings us right to the heart of the problem, the core of the crisis. All those predictive models that trillions, with a T, trillions of dollars in insurance and pensions rely on, they are completely, fundamentally unprepared for this. They're basically flying blind into a hurricane. So the big threat here has a name, longevity risk, and it's a two-sided coin. For you and me, on a personal level, it's the absolute nightmare scenario of outliving your savings. But on a huge systemic level, it's the risk that entire pension funds and insurance companies could go belly up because suddenly their liabilities just explode. Why? Because we're all living decades longer than their spreadsheets ever predicted. So check this out. What's so fascinating here is the massive flaw it reveals in our thinking. For decades, we've used these old models that just look at the past and assume the future will be more of the same, just a slow, steady line going up. But the new way, it's a total game changer. Instead of looking in the rearview mirror, it looks at where the money's going. It treats investment as a clue, a leading indicator for what's coming, because it gets that technology doesn't move in a straight line. It takes massive leaps. And here's the result of that flawed thinking. Just look at the scale of this miscalculation. If we stick with those old models, we could be underestimating how much longer people will live by up to 31%. And that's just by 2040. Let me be really clear. This is not a rounding error. This is a potential multi-trillion-dollar black hole opening up in the middle of the global financial system. So this isn't just some abstract problem for accountants and economists. No, this hits way closer to home. This failure of the numbers translates directly to the collapse of the life plan we've all been sold our entire lives, Learn, then work, then retire. That whole model, it's becoming economically impossible. It's breaking. Just look at this table. It really lays out the massive shift we're talking about. We're moving away from that straight, linear path to something much more flexible and multi-staged. Think about it, education isn't just something you do at the beginning anymore. It's something you loop back to again and again. Your career isn't one job. It's a portfolio of different gigs and transitions. And that idea of a final one-and-done retirement, that gets replaced by multiple breaks over a career that could easily last 100 years.
And these new life stages aren't just abstract ideas. They're becoming very real. You might have an explorer phase, where you take a planned break to travel or just recharge. Or you could become an independent producer, ditching a 9-to-5 to start your own thing. Or maybe you'll live a portfolio life, where you're juggling a few different streams of work, learning, and fun all at the same time. This kind of flexibility, that's the secret sauce to navigating a 150-year life.
But okay, with all this disruption, and it is massive,
there's also a massive opportunity. Because this aging but still incredibly active population is creating a whole new powerful market. They're calling it the longevity economy. I mean, just look at this chart. The purchasing power of older consumers isn't just growing, it's set to explode. And we're not just talking about more people in that age bracket, we're talking about their economic clout, their influence. This group is quickly becoming one of the hottest frontiers in business worldwide. And they're not just passively buying things, they are actively driving what gets made. And the smart companies, they're already on this. You've got Nestlé, which is shifting its focus from baby food to nutrition for seniors. You've got companies like Silverts designing cool, adaptive clothing that helps people stay independent. And I love this one, a supermarket chain that created chat checkout lanes just to help combat loneliness. These are just nice ideas. They're smart business, catering to the real needs of this vibrant demographic. And it's not just about selling to older people, it's about hiring them too. The innovation is happening in talent strategy. Look at CVS. They're actually recruiting their older customers to come work for them. ANZ Bank has this whole age is no barrier strategy. And you see entire governments, like in Singapore, pouring money into retraining workers who are 65 and older. The bottom line here is that experience, that wisdom, is becoming one of the most valuable assets a company can have. So, we're facing this completely new reality. The big question is, what do we do about it? How do we prepare? Well, it's going to take a clear, actionable roadmap. And that means everyone has a part to play. Policymakers, businesses, and of course, us as individuals. All right, let's start with the policymakers. For them, the mandate is pretty clear. First off, get rid of fixed retirement ages. They're a relic. Instead, tie them to how long people are actually living healthy lives. Benefits, those have to become portable. They need to follow you, the individual, from job to job, not be stuck with one employer. And we need to look at what's working in places like the Netherlands and Singapore and copy their pension reforms to make sure the whole system doesn't go broke.
Okay, now for businesses. The strategy here really has two parts. Inside the company, you have to embrace a multi-generational workforce. That means flexible hours, phased retirement, and constantly reskilling everybody. But then, looking outward, you absolutely have to be designing products and services for this powerful, growing longevity market. If you're not, you're leaving a massive amount of money on the table. And finally, let's bring it back to us. For individuals, this is all about a total mindset shift. That old 3-stage life plan, forget about it. It's obsolete. We have to start planning for a multi-stage life, one where we're always learning, always adapting our work, and always proactively managing our health. Here's the new rule. Your vitality, your physical and mental health, is now just as important as your bank account. So all of this leaves us with a pretty stark choice, doesn't it? A 150-year life isn't a matter of if anymore. It's a matter of when. The real question, for all of us, for our institutions and for us as individuals, isn't whether we'll have to change. It's whether we're going to proactively restructure for this new world or just let the old model drag us into obsolescence. Look, the future is coming at us way faster than our old systems can handle. If you want to stay ahead of these critical shifts and understand what's next, make sure you subscribe to Blueprint Future.